WME and W225BD, Statesville.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Ham.
If you don't know our host, David Ham, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest.
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
Their racing roots.
Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts.
Now here's our host, David Ham.
And good evening, everyone. Welcome to Racing Roots with Ham. My voice is a little bit hoarse this evening, but I think I'll be all right. Hope everybody had a great day. We finally got some big storms rolling through here, but thank you so much for tuning in here on 550 AM and 92.9 FM. And always remember, if you start losing your FM signal, you can switch over to AM. But we got an exciting show for you. We got Madison Conrad in here with us, and we got Madison and Mason. And so we're going to talk about Madison's. I worked with her at Roush Yates Engines for how many years were you there before I was there? I mean, wait a minute. I was there already. I was there 16 years.
3 or 4 years.
Okay. So we worked together for 3 or 4 years. Yes. How about that? And have you guys ever worked in any NASCAR racing yet?
No.
Would you like to?
Sort of.
Sort of. All right. So yes, we're going to talk to y'all here in a little bit. We got you're the crew chief for your brother's dirt bike, which is very cool, right? What kind of dirt bikes do you have?
He has, I have a Honda 50 and he has a KTM 50 and a Husqvarna 65.
Okay. All right. Very good. I had a KTM 250 or something like that, whatever. It was one of those K somethings. But it was too much power, more power than I would ever use in a lifetime. So anyway, all right. So Madison, it's so good to see you up in here. You came back from Indy. I don't know why I said up in here, but it sounded kind of like I'm from the west side of Charlotte, so good figure. Anyway, how was Indy?
Indy was absolutely incredible. Definitely a once in a lifetime experience that I still kind of look back at pictures that I took and I don't think it's real.
Yeah, I'm sure. There's some really cool pictures too. I looked through them, and Dawn was telling us about something here. Well, Dawn Clark's here too. She's off camera for right now, but we might sneak a camera over there onto her. And then, of course, Tracy's over here. So if you got any questions, you can throw them at us. And if you're listening on the radio, you can go onto my YouTube channel, DHAMIM, and you can ask questions and see us here live in the Randy Marion studio. So, yes, so back to the Indy. All right. So we'll get to that eventually. But what I like to do is talk about your racing roots, because I know you started out racing, and was it dirt?
Yep, dirt and asphalt.
Okay. So all right, let's go back to the very beginning.
Yeah.
So where were you born? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Usually when people think of New Mexico, they don't ever think of racing, which is true. We only had about one asphalt track and a couple of dirt tracks. So my dad and my grandfather used to race. And it was kind of one of those things that as soon as they built a dirt track in my hometown, I begged them until I think they were just tired of hearing me talk about it to build me a car. So we went to the junkyard and started off in like a hobby stock division, just putting a roll cage, knocking the windows out of a car, and started off from there. And then worked my way up to street stocks, raced on asphalt as well, and won some championships, won some races, and had a lot of fun. But kind of got to the point where I knew I didn't have the talent or funding to make it full time as a race car driver. So, and that was the point where I kind of realized that I wanted to work on them full time, and might as well make a career out of it.
Which happens a lot. That happens. I mean, they say if somebody ever says they want to be, what is it? They say you want to be a millionaire, then you can start your own race team with 10 million, and then you'll become a millionaire or something like that.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's something like pretty close, but yeah. And then a lot of people in racing started out driving, and then now they're crew chiefs, or and if they're really good and let's say you had a lot of money while you're doing it, which makes you even better typically.
Absolutely.
And you can move up through the ranks and
That's why I wasn't that good. We'll go with that.
I know how it is. I mean, our first car, I paid $150 for a dirt car, and stripped everything out of it. Spent way more time on it than I've spent a lot more money on it than I had in time, because time is money. But $150, and I think I ended up giving it away or something. But anyway, that's the way that goes.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. So then you got in. What tracks did you race at? You were in
Yeah.
Albuquerque?
So we raced at Sandia Motor Speedway in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So that they had a dirt track and an asphalt track. We also raced in Aztec in New Mexico, Las Cruces, and Grants, New Mexico. So kind of some small local racetracks around New Mexico, but it was a lot of fun. Definitely different surfaces. New Mexico dirt is not nearly as good as the North Carolina dirt.
Oh, yeah.
Learning, it was more like sand. Now
Yeah.
looking back on it, but it was a lot of fun.
That's what I was thinking whenever you were talking about New Mexico. I thought sand, even though that's one of the places I haven't been. I mean, I've been to Texas, and that's pert near, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so, what's up, Mason? How you doing over there? Hanging in there? Mason, you like NASCAR?
Yes, so.
Okay. Well, good. Who's your favorite driver?
I think Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs. Okay. There you go. So, we're going to give a shout out to our friends over at Roush Yates Engines. I'm actually wearing I think this might have been whenever in 2004, whenever we formed the Roush Yates, this was like one of the first shirts we got, and it was Ford Racing back then, and then it ended up turning to Ford Performance. So yeah, I think this is probably one of the coolest shirts. And I just told how old it is, but I take good care of it.
Make it look
And it's
good.
been washed quite a few times. But yeah, Ford Racing. But always representing the Roush Yates friends.
Absolutely.
And always pulling for y'all. You know,
Appreciate it.
that's where my heart is. That was my last job in racing. And
That was your roots.
yeah, my roots. So, or where I finished up in the
Absolutely.
NASCAR. So yeah. So how is everybody back at Roush Yates now?
Everyone wanted to tell you hello. They were really excited. I told them they better get my autograph before I come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had some jealous people that wanted to come on, but yeah, they're really supportive and they're happy for you. And
Yeah.
we all miss you. We all miss the harmonica birthday celebrations.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got my harmonica right here. If I need to just play it for y'all. Whose birthdays you got this week or this month? Let's see.
Mark Hayes' birthday is this month, and he was real excited.
All right. And wait a minute.
It's my birthday this month, yeah.
When's your birthday?
June 16th.
June the 16th. 2 days after Tracy.
Yeah,
All right, then.
Geminis.
here it is.
There you go. Happy
There it
birthday,
is. There it is.
Madison. And
No, this is great.
and Mark
It's
Hayes
like old times.
and all the other June birthdays. Right. June's a great month for birthdays. A lot of great people throughout history. Madison, Mark Hayes,
Exactly.
Tracy, Donald Trump. Yeah, lots of people. And so there you have it. And when's Tabitha's birthday?
Tabitha's is in January.
Well, mine's in January, so go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we get along so well. Yes. And see, I kind of remembered when her birthday was because I know one time she listens to the show, of course, and whenever she's mentioned something one time, said it was her birthday. I thought she said it was her birthday. You know how my eyes are. And then I said, it's her birthday. I thought she had one. It was in November or January or something. And so she corrected me and said, you're not listening.
I say that often too.
Yes, I know. You know how I am. So anyway, hey, so is anybody tuning in on the YouTube for us now?
Yes, we have Linda Jinks, Dickie Dennis, and Rachel Rodman.
All right. Dickie Dennis is up in Virginia. Do you remember by chance in 2014 there was a race at Richmond and this person climbed up on the fence
I sure do.
and
Was that
got up
him?
there? That was him,
Oh.
yes.
Infamous Dickie Dennis.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
He got up there and he's like, he threw his arms up because he left his cell phone. He remembered he wanted to get a selfie with Kevin Harvick, you know, of all places to do that.
Well, you might as well.
He left his cell phone sitting on the bleachers or in the stands. So he's like, what?
He got up there and realized he didn't have his phone.
Who did that?
Elliot Kessler.
Oh, yeah. So if
So he's famous for it. So is Dickie.
I think I don't know. I'm thinking maybe Dickie can go up to Indy and climb a fence and he'll be okay. Because if they can do it, why can't he do it? There you go. All right. So did you climb any fences in Indy?
I did not. We did see some fans climb the fence in Indy. So the really cool thing about Indianapolis Motor Speedway is you have fans on either side of you. So we had fans like behind our pit box, and we had, you know, obviously the fans down the front stretch. And it was a packed house. It was really nice to see fans back in the stands. So
Yeah.
we definitely, when we started doing pit stops, we had quite the audience come up to the fence with their phones out. So it was exciting.
I'm sure.
I don't know if anyone was climbing the fence for us, but
So that place is it's pretty grand, I guess you could say. They had, I know every time we went there in NASCAR, we didn't have to bring a pit wall banner. Like everywhere we went, we had our own banner on, take the duct tape out, but they had it painted on the wall. You know, it'd be like Nemechek 42 or Petty 40, you know, or 42. But anyway, yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
Yes, and my first experience at Indy, it was in 1996, and Kyle Petty was, I think he was running second, and he ended up hitting the wall so hard he broke his leg, whatever, tore the car up, sent it back on a rollback. So I spent the rest of the day walking around the museum there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got the lucky chance to go through the Indy Museum with actually Rick Mears. He took us, all the Pret Autosport ladies, through the museum, and it was actually his exhibit that they were highlighting that time. So he was basically talking about his career, and we got past a couple cars, and he said, "We're not going to talk about this one." So, but it was such a cool experience, and then he actually took us out onto a tour bus around Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So pretty cool to have a 4-time Indianapolis 500 champion driving you around in a tour bus. It was very cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. That's something I never got to do, was go around Indy. That's a big track, right?
It's huge.
Yes.
Yeah, TV does not do it justice.
Yeah. But you don't have the banking like you have at Talladega.
Absolutely, yeah.
You definitely wouldn't be able to take a bus. You could take a bus on the shoulder, but at Talladega, when you're in a bus, you look straight out and you see
Yeah, I
the
wouldn't
track.
want to be in that bus.
Because it's, yeah. Yeah, so tell us about that. Tell us about your experience, how you got involved in that, because it was a all-female pit crew.
Yeah, so
75%.
majority female. Mm-hmm. So back in February, Pret Autosport kind of announced this earlier this year, that they wanted to do a female forward, mostly female team at the Indy 500, just the Indy 500, and female driver, female owner. So back in February, I was reached out to by Jefferson Hodges and Brian Wilson from Team Penske, actually, because Pret Autosport had a Team Penske alliance. So they had reached out to me and kind of knew them from racing. My boyfriend works at Penske, so they thought of me for it, and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in working on the car?" And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, it's the Indy 500, of course. Like, who wouldn't say yes to that? So,
Right.
And the next thing you know, I got a call from the pit coach, Sean Reineman at Penske, and he said, would you be interested in pitting the car? And I was like, well, I've never changed a tire in a hurry ever. So sure, let's do it. So then we had like a combine, basically, a bunch of ladies coming in and kind of just see where our strengths are. None of us really had any IndyCar experience. So just even seeing if we were capable to do it. And from there we had some cuts and made it down, to the final 6 ladies. And I got to be the inside rear tire changer at the 500. So very unique experience. It was the craziest 2 weeks of my life. Hardest I've worked 2 weeks of my life, but it was definitely worth it.
I'll bet that's something that I've never pitted a car, an Indy car, that is, So have you ever thought about pitting a NASCAR? Yeah.
Those tires are a little bit heavier, so
Yeah.
I'd have to build up some strength before I do that. But after
Yes.
doing this, it was very fun. So,
Yeah.
it was one lug nut. NASCAR's going to one lug nut next year, so maybe I'll have an advantage.
Yeah, there you go. And see, back in the day with NASCAR, they had a left side tire changer, so you could, the person would take the left front, bust all of them loose while the other 2 tire changers were on the other side, and then go back and do the left rear. The other tire changer would come around, jackman jacks it up, pull the tire off, and go with it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do anything like that. Anyway, you could do rears.
Yeah, I'd
Just
be
do
okay with
rears.
that.
Yeah, so that's good. I
Yeah,
could see
being at
you-
the end of pit road was definitely an experience. We didn't qualify great. We qualified 33rd out of 33 cars, so we were at the end of pit road, which I'm sure in your career you've kind of been at the back half of pit road. And
yeah,
it's,
Charlotte's really bad, but anyway.
It's a little bit scary having those cars coming from turn 4 from
Yes.
200 miles an hour down to 60 and not a long time. So
Yeah.
definitely we had some cars flying through our pit box and kept us on our toes for sure.
Yeah, so the whenever we would pit at Charlotte, and so a lot of times we would be down there in turn 4, and then the cars are flying by, and we're there trying to pit. It's definitely nerve-wracking. So go back to how did you? I mean, there's not a lot of NASCAR in New Mexico.
No.
So did you watch it on TV? Were you interested in it by what you saw?
Yeah, so my dad and my grandpa, it was like a religion. We watched it every Sunday. After we would race Saturday night, and we'd watch it Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and kind of just really grew up loving it. My dad was a big Dale Earnhardt fan, Tony Stewart fan, so kind of, got to know it a lot from him. And then from there, grew up as a fan and then started racing and learned I loved this and, wanted to make a career out of it. So that's actually, after I graduated high school, moved out to Mooresville, North Carolina, and went to NASCAR Technical Institute. And that's actually when I got my internship with Roush Yates Engines, and the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, there you go. So you got to know John Dodson a little bit over
Absolutely.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he helped me out get this gig, so.
Yeah, that's cool. John Dodson, we worked together for back in 1994, 95. So I always were very good friends, and I had him on the show as well. Yeah, so I'm sure he's tuned in. So, hey, John. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Madison a little bit more, and then we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Madison and Mason, and y'all can tell us your story as well. All right, so who do you think was your biggest influence to get you started in to NASCAR? You said your dad was one of the.
Yeah, so my dad and my grandpa, were always like real into racing, and they always kind of, were my guidance counselors, I guess you could say, when it came to racing, and they believed I could do it. And my mom was a really big. My mom's not a huge race fan, but she loved it because I loved it. She showed up to every single race that I was at, and she was my number one supporter. And when I told her I wanted to move 1,700 miles across the country to go to NASCAR school, like, my whole family kind of gave me a weird look, but they said, hey, if you're happy, then we support it. So definitely my family was my biggest supporters throughout all this.
Yeah, that's cool. She was your biggest cheerleader, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Now, is your mom Carol?
No, Michelle.
Okay, your Carol Flack is on here.
Oh, Carol Flack, that is my boyfriend's mom. Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Carol.
So where's your boyfriend at? You didn't bring him with you?
Man, I know. I kept him at home for a reason. Just kidding.
Yeah,
Bless his heart, he hears me talk about this all the time. So,
so
he's
he's
probably
like-
sick of hearing it.
He's like, I don't want to hear that again. It's the same old story.
Exactly, yeah.
Does he ever think that you're doing better than he is? Is that what it is?
I don't know, maybe. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why he's not here.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I just can't. I love you, Tommy, if you're listening.
She's just kidding.
Yes. So Roush Yates, that was your first job in racing,
yeah.
and you kind of got there from NASCAR Tech, as you mentioned, and they typically do hire quite a bit of students from NASCAR Tech.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's like you have to,
yourself.
you have to prove yourself.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
school.
I started off, in the parts room at Roush Yates Engines, and kind of, just getting your feet wet. It's the first job really in racing that I had, and obviously working on NASCAR engines isn't like anything I had done before, so it was nice to kind of get my feet wet and learn the parts, learn the people, get familiar with everyone. When I first walked in, everyone wearing the same blue shirt, I felt like it was going to be years till I learned anyone's name. So, but that was really nice. And then after I graduated from NASCAR Tech, I had asked, hey, I want to go into teardown and, kind of want to start, working on the engines. And they're like, yeah, we're all for it. Doug Yates is so supportive of me, and he was like, yeah, whatever you want, we'll put you in teardown. So I was in teardown for a year, and then from there doing post-race inspections, and got to do that for a couple years. And then from there kind of got the opportunity to go to marketing side for a little bit and travel around and talk to our partners about, how I love this sport, and, kind of like what their money's going towards and how cool that this industry is. And then COVID kind of ruined that a little bit. Just traveling, it put a damper on everybody, which is unfortunate.
Right.
But now I'm back at the Cup Shop, full-time powertrain reliability specialist, looking at all of the post-race components, pistons, bearings, head gaskets, O-rings, doing all of our problems meetings, and having a great time at it.
Well, and that's the thing about it. Whenever you start working at Roush Yates, you start in the teardown, because then you learn what all the parts are, and you learn a lot about them. So then you moved over to doing the inspection room, and you already kind of knew what you were looking at that point. And I mean, of course, you come in what you learned from NASCAR Tech.
Absolutely.
But it's kind of like, too, if you can't handle the work in teardown, then you're probably not going to.
Yeah, it's definitely the dirtiest job in the shop. When you know that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's long hours, long days, but you learn so much. You learn more every day. Everything's different coming in, and you're kind of the first eyes on the engine, which is really cool. You're the first one to see everything. So, yeah, definitely a lot to learn in there.
Yeah. So when I started there, they actually told me up front, they're like, all right, normally when we start people here, we start them in teardown and that kind of stuff. But since I'd already, been in racing for quite a while, they just went ahead and put me straight in as an engine builder. But that was a different time too. That was 18 years ago now.
Wow.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Mason and Madison, and so we'll be right back. Y'all don't go anywhere. We got Madison Conrad here on Racing Roots with Ham, so stay tuned.
Cravings for 45 sauce or a Big Dipper? Need a huge salad for lunch and dinner? Don't worry, Groucho's is here to help. Order online, not in line. Download the Groucho's Deli mobile app right now, and you're a step closer to great sandwiches and salads for lunch or for dinner. Feed the whole family tonight. Go online to Grouchos.com or get the app and let Grouchos do the rest. Support local and stay safe. Get the Grouchos app, get your 45 sauce, and just smile.
At Banner Drug, we are proud to say we have been caring for our patients in our community since 1996. Our pharmacy offers a personalized customer service experience you expect from a locally owned store. To help you with your prescriptions, all 4 Banner Drug locations can deliver your medication right to your door. You can call in your prescription refill order, or better yet, use the convenient refill button on our website, www.bannerdrug.com.
Blue Harbor Bank is not your typical bank, right, Doug Hendricks?
It's a great little bank. We're based out of Mooresville. All of our board of directors, our employees, and the vast majority of our customers are all from right here in Iredell County. So it's a great place to be. We have a great time as a team. The team here in Statesville consists of Jennifer Jolly and Tara Summers. They are the primary customer service folks for business and personal banking. Then we have Tom Kincaid as a commercial banker for this area. We also have the best mortgage banker in the area. That's Lisa Culvard, who many people have worked with at other banks. She's been in the market for over 20 years doing mortgages. And then yours truly, Doug Hendricks. And we have a great time working together. There's no competition between our employees for accounts or whatever. And because of that, then we don't have a lot of the issues that some banks have with people doing things they probably shouldn't do just to make a sale.
Blue Harbor Bank, with locations in Statesville, Mooresville, and Huntersville. Member FDIC.
All right, we're back on Racing Roots with Ham right here on 550 and 92.9 WAME. You can also stream live on WAMEradio.com. That's WAME radio.com, as well as you can go on to DHAMIM on YouTube, and you can see us here live in the Randy Marion studio. And I want to thank our sponsor, Jersey Cape Yachts. If you'd like to get your own custom yacht, and you can go hang out on Lake Norman, or if you're anywhere in the world, they can send it to you, your custom yacht. They do 31 to 66 foot, and you can give them a email, Janine at jerseycapeyachts.com. That's Janine with a G. Or you can give them a call at, what's that number, Dawn? Can you see that? You can't see. 609?
965.
Okay.
8650.
Okay. All right. Did y'all hear that?
Apparel as well.
All right. I'm about to tear this thing up. All right. So anyway, yeah. So back to the show. We got Mason here and Madison. And Mason, how old are you, Mason?
I am 8.
You're 8. And what do you do?
I race dirt bikes.
You race dirt bikes. How exciting. And so, Madison, did you ever have a dirt bike?
I never did.
You didn't?
Never
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
I wasn't good on 2 wheels, so I admire that.
Yeah, 2 wheels is different, that's for sure. So where do you see yourself going? How far do you want to go with this dirt bike racing?
I like racing it at MX tracks and SX.
Yeah. All right. So do you think you're going to be racing from now on? Like 10 years from now, do you want to still be racing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Very good. And Madison, you're the crew chief.
Yes, sir.
And how old are you?
I just turned 11.
Just turned 11, and you're already a crew chief. How cool is that?
Yes.
You have your own toolbox, and you
Yes.
work on the bikes.
Yes, I definitely help with that stuff a lot.
Okay. And you drive you ride a bike as well, right? So,
No, I don't. I have a hand-me-down bike that's
Yeah.
gone through the family, but I never ride it because I'm scared I'm going to crash.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you just ride it around so you kind of get used to it and you know how to adjust on them. So what kind of adjustments do you make on the bikes?
Not really a lot of adjustments. Like if something happens, like while he's racing, if he gets dirt in something there's not supposed to be dirt in,
Yeah.
I'll help clean the dirt out.
Yeah.
After every single race, normally, behind the front fender and the back fender, there's a whole bunch of just dirt everywhere. So I get a rag and get all that off,
There
get
you
all
go.
the dirt off the bike.
So if somebody's picking at him and do you go over there and talk to him, say, leave my brother alone.
For sure.
I could see you doing that. I could see you being a protective sister.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if somebody wants to, let's say, sponsor you, or somebody wants to watch you race, how do they do that?
They can go to, we normally race at Daniels Ridge every Saturday
Where's that at?
or Sunday. It's Taylorsville.
Taylorsville. Daniels Ridge in Taylorsville.
Sometimes we go to East Bend, which is, where's East Bend? I have no idea.
East,
I don't know where it is.
near Winston, East Bend, near Winston. There's a
think so.
vineyard right there, out there too.
Yeah,
okay.
there is.
Yeah, East Bend. So y'all are on here because you sent us an email to WAME Radio, and Billy Buck forwarded it to me and said this might be something you'd be interested in because he knows I have the racing show, Racing Roots, every Monday night. So I sent y'all an email. I said, sure, y'all. I think I'd have a perfect time for you to come in because I have another Madison coming on as well. So that was like it was just meant to be for y'all to come in at this time. What's your parents' name?
Danelle and Chris Hall.
Chris and what?
Danelle.
Danelle. Chris and Danelle. And y'all live over here in Statesville on the west side, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you get along good with your parents? Do you
Yes.
listen? All right, good.
Put him on
Of
the
course.
spot, Dave. Put him
I
on the
know,
spot.
right?
99% of the time.
I should say, do you listen to your parents?
99% of the time.
There you go, 99%. What about your brother? Is he good?
Yes, he's pretty good.
He's pretty good, huh? Does he get in trouble a lot? I can see that. He's smiling a lot. Like he knows something's up.
He's like, what kind of interview is this?
I know, right? Well, I just got to know all the details. I want to know everything, you know.
Sometimes, but not really.
I can't hear you. What?
Do y'all have any other brothers and sisters?
Oh,
No, we do not. We have 2 dogs, if that counts.
oh, that counts. I mean, you know, you see people riding with their vans and they have the little stickers on. Do y'all have those?
No, we don't.
No stickers. Okay.
We have a puppy and a 7-year-old dog.
Oh, okay. 7-year-old. What's their names?
Whistle and Woodford.
Whistle and Woodford. Did they go to the track with you?
Woodford does because she's still a puppy. We just got her. She's 6 months old, I think, getting ready to be 7. So Whistle just kind of stays home and, you know,
Lays down on the couch.
Yes, she's like, no puppy. Yes.
Oh, yes, I understand.
And the puppy's like, no other dog.
No Whistle.
Oh, okay. All right. So how do you see this going with your future in racing? You're going to stay on dirt bikes, you know, because a lot of dirt bikes, they end up being race car drivers like Joe Nemechek, you know, John Hunter.
He wants to be a supercross rider when he gets up, like one of the supercross that are on TV. Okay. I don't know if we're going to go that far. I hope we do, honestly. But
sure. I thought you didn't like car rides.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I do not like car rides.
I bet your dad's probably heard of Damon Bradshaw. Have you heard of him? Yeah, I grew up. He grew up on the same west side of Charlotte with me and went to school with my brother. And he turned out to be pretty big time. And I think he races monster trucks, or he did. So, you know, you could probably do that in the future. Move in from, you know, eventually whenever you say, oh, it's about time to switch over to something else, get you one of those big monster trucks.
I could see Mason whether in like a little go-kart or in a monster truck. I could see him in that.
Yeah, there you go.
And Madison, you were saying you wanted a side-by-side, right?
Yeah, I want a side-by-side, but my parents are like, you rolled our go-kart down the hill, so no side-by-side.
Oh.
Even though I was in it.
Keep on them.
Well, they'll eventually forget about that. Just don't keep reminding them like you just did. You know what I mean? So
I told them I would race that thing, but they're like, where are you going to get that money?
On WAME radio.
That's right, yes.
That freedom.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons you're on the radio. You can ask for that money. You can ask for sponsorship. So
yeah. We have one sponsor for Mason's dirt bike, Cam of the Carolinas. Cam of the Carolinas. They are, I think, a cleaning company in Charlotte.
Okay. Cleaning company in Charlotte. I wonder if they're listening right now.
Yeah.
All right. So you got to give a shout out to your sponsor.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So there you go. And we're just looking for more sponsors for.
What color is your guys' bike? What's the number? How can we look at it?
It's 12. The number's 12.
And it's dark blue and orange.
Okay.
Well,
those are good looking
kind
colors.
of dark blue.
So how can people find you? How can they see a picture of your car? I mean, your bike. I'm sorry.
Instagram. Our dad posts pictures of it.
Okay.
I think sometimes my mom posts stuff on Facebook.
All right.
Probably.
And that's on what page is that on? Does your mom need to tell us that?
Yeah.
It's What's your Instagram page? Dawn's gonna look it up here. Yes. C_Hall1120 on Instagram.
And there's a lot of pictures of Madison and Mason on there, riding dirt bikes and taking care of them. And,
Yeah.
Madison's leaving out it. She nut and bolts everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
You left that out?
Yes, somehow.
Yep. So she makes sure that her brother's taken care of. She checks every nut and every bolt before every race. On top of cleaning it and taking care, and she keeps notes at every racetrack that we go to on the condition of the track. And the biggest thing is she's a cheerleader for her brother. They're inseparable when they're at the track. What she's leaving out, Ham, is their extreme racing routes. So from the time she was 6 months old, she was at a racetrack, and that dates back to all through our family lineage. So they love every form of motorsports, whether it's open wheel and NASCAR or dirt bikes. They just like to go fast and have fun and be a family. So very proud of both of them.
Oh, very good. That reminds me of the song. They named it Darrell, Walter, Richard Petty, Rusty Austin, Bill, Irvin Gordon, Earnhardt Smith. He says he was born up in the stands and he sucked on the valve off a Goodyear tire with his pacifier. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And there's other family that comes with us on too, and friends.
Yes. My Uncle Travis, he goes with us a lot. And my neighbor, Avery, she comes with us most of the time and kind of helps me with crew chief stuff and helps Mason, gives him pep talks and stuff.
How old is she?
I think just turned 10.
Okay.
1 year behind me.
So y'all all started really young.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you. Now, is your dad's been a big influence on you, I'm sure.
Yes, he has, definitely.
So what's your dad's did he race? Did he race dirt bikes?
He
Ride?
one time he rode in one class, I think.
Yeah, he
I'm
won.
not as brave as Mason is.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on. And so if people want to get hold of you again, Dawn, you got that Instagram?
I got the C_Hall, and then I got so interested in
Oh,
this that I just like my
yeah.
mind wandered. Sorry.
All right. So you can find them on Instagram.
It's C_Hall 1120. And you can see all kinds of cool pictures of the kids and dirt bike riding and
Oh man, these are awesome.
having fun. So, Mason, what's your favorite part about riding?
I think just jumping
Jumping.
tabletops.
Doing the jumps, tabletops. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice looking bike.
Moto 40's tabletop.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Had to give Moto 40 a plug since we're here in Statesville, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
So, awesome. Madison, what's your favorite?
What do you like? My favorite track?
Yeah.
I like Moto 40. Definitely.
Good choice. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us here on Racing Roots with Ham, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you, Ham.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank y'all. And we'll keep in touch with you, and I'll follow you on Instagram from my DHam I Am page and my Racing Roots page, and I'll keep up with what you're up to and comment and all that good stuff.
Yeah, good luck this year.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck to you. All right, let me turn these mics off, and then we'll get back to Madison. And if you want to slide over, bye, Madison and Mason. And if you want to, you slide over to this chair. That would be good, and then we can get us a little bit better camera angle. All right, so if you're just now tuning in on the radio, we here on Racing Roots with Ham, which happens every Monday night at 7:00. We learn my new guests every Monday. We learn their path, their story, their racing roots, and we've got Madison Conrad in here with us. So she has a 3 years in NASCAR, right? 3 or 4, 5.
So I worked at Roush Yates for 6 years now.
Oh, 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, time flies. I'm
It
telling
really
you.
does.
And so she's been at Roush Yates for 6 years, which is 6 years in NASCAR, and then you were at NASCAR Tech Institute for
about
10
2 years.
2 years before that. And so, yeah, it's like me. I went to college for 6 years, something like that. Or whatever. I'm just kidding. But your racing roots go deeper than that because you started out racing in dirt tracks, and you were pretty young. I just about used one of your, or did I use that in the thumbnail? The picture of you, yeah. I guess that was your dirt
that was
car.
probably one of my first couple races. I started racing when I was 14, which is late now. I mean, those kids just started when they were 8 years old. So
I know, how
got a
cool.
late start in the scheme of things, right?
Yeah. How cool is that? 10. Yeah. Young. I mean, whenever I was that young, whatever, I was just trying to get through school, trying to pass. And playing in the dirt barefoot.
Yeah.
All
Making
that good
mud
stuff.
pies, probably.
Yeah, making mud pie. I did that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so back to your roots. Whenever you were you started working at Roush Yates, and then you moved your way through, and then now you're working on IndyCar stuff, but you're also doing a lot of the marketing kind of thing.
Yeah, so I kind of did the marketing thing throughout 2020, pretty much last year, and COVID kind of dampened some of that. You know, I would go to the racetracks. I went to the Daytona 500, went to Las Vegas, Phoenix, and but then COVID hit. I was kind of in the last real victory lane in Phoenix with Joey Logano in 2019 or 2020, so that was pretty cool. And then after that, kind of the world shut down as we know it, so that was kind of different. But still did like the marketing, social media. You know, the game has kind of changed in motorsports, so it's a lot about what can you offer to your partners, you know, and trying to get the most engagement from your posts and trying to, you know, get the company out there so that way other people know how awesome it is, like we do.
Yeah, that's right. And so whenever you, Chris England sent me a message, said, "Hey, I know another guest you need to get on your show." Yeah. And he said, Madison Conrad. I said, you know what? I thought about that before. I just haven't done it. So then I just sent you a text. He sent me your number, and I sent you a text.
He probably got tired of hearing me talk about it. So
right
he's
away.
like, please talk to somebody else.
No, man, me and Chris keep in touch.
Yeah.
He's been one of my best friends ever.
Yeah, but Chris won't come on the show.
But he won't come on the show.
No.
He says, I'm not interesting.
He's too humble.
Yeah, he is. He's extremely humble. That's for sure. Yeah, I'm sure he'd have a lot of good stories.
Absolutely.
But also he's got, you know, the Brady Bunch family.
He really does. I don't know how he deals with all the daughters. Man,
yeah.
I had a sister, and I'm like, man, we were hell on my family. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got, how many kids does he have now?
He's got 4 girls.
Yeah, it's 4 girls of his own, that's for sure. 4 girls, yeah.
His wife
and
now
they're
has,
all,
3?
And they're teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so.
I keep telling him to buy a hat and just hold on to it.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So anyway, so here you are, and you made it onto Racing Roots with Ham, and I'm so glad you come up.
Yeah, thank you. This is awesome.
And that your experience at Indy was enjoyable. Mm-hmm. And so, what do you see in your future? I mean, I know there's a lot of things coming. Things are changing. Things are evolving in NASCAR, and there's big changes all the time.
Yeah, I mean, NASCAR is going to the next gen car next year, which, I mean, on the engine side, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of changes. Obviously, we have to adjust the engine to fit into the new car, which will be kind of a challenge in itself, and we're already working on those initiatives. The whole development group at Roush Yates Engines is really putting a lot of work into that. You know, but I do think that with change, comes advantages, and it's opportunity to, you know, be better when this all comes out. So I'm excited for this next gen, and I hope we can have some good racing, and hopefully you'll see a lot of Fords up front. So I'm excited for that. But as you know, we'll see kind of how that evolves, and you know, kind of go through next year. I think next year is going to be kind of a learning curve for everybody, which will be kind of nice because we're all in the same playing field. All the teams are, so it'll be good. I'm excited for it.
Well, that's one of the things about Roush Yates and Doug Yates. Whenever he sees a challenge like that, that's what it is. He's like, focus. Okay, things are changing. There's nothing we can do about it. So we need to collectively just focus in this direction. Mm-hmm. And he goes for it, you know, and I always think back to one of the Daytona 500. A lot of the other teams were, you know, having engine problems, overheating and that kind of stuff with the new front air dams and stuff we had on the cars. And he went to work, and ours were out. We were running our temperatures up, but we were beating, and we ended up winning the race. I mean, it was just like that, you know, that type of thing you come out with, and you just try to kind of outsmart your competitors.
Absolutely.
And then that's what you have to do.
Yeah, it should be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So then 2022. So the new engine, the 2022, it was I think the contract was up, but it's been renewed from what I heard.
I do believe so. Yeah. I'm not totally sure. Don't quote me on it.
Because we've always had the rumors of, are they going to switch over to the, you know, the 6-cylinder or those types of things? Is the current V8 going to be phased out, I should say? Or are we going to keep the current V8 so it's going to stick around?
Yeah, I know it'll for sure stick around next year. Yeah. It's got a lot of inventory, so I'm glad to see the pushrod V8's not going anywhere yet.
Sure, yeah. So is there anybody you want to give shout-outs to at Roush Yates?
Yeah, absolutely. All those guys. For sure, Doug Yates. I mean, I told Doug Yates about this opportunity at Indy, and he was like, yeah, go for it. So for letting me have 2 weeks to go out and play with Indy cars is super awesome, and he's super supportive. So definitely got to give a shout out to all those guys. And of course, Chris England for talking me up into this. So.
Yeah. My question is, did you get paid? Or we should talk about that off camera. to go to Indy to Doug. He paid you. He said, "You go ahead, but I'm not going to pay you." No, I'm just kidding. Of course he did.
So Dickie Dennis said he wants to see you and Madison do a pit crew challenge.
Oh, is that right?
There you go.
Yeah. You know what? We used to have that at Roush Yates. We had a pit crew challenge.
I've heard lots of stories about this, and I'm
think it
jealous
was-
I
Like
have
Elvis?
not.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 years in a row we had that.
Yeah.
We had
Did you win?
Yeah, we won. We won one year, and then the next year we won again. But
No, he wants to see y'all do it against each other.
we won, but we didn't win. Okay, that's
you
another
cheat,
story. No, you have to ask some guys in development about that.
Okay.
How that worked out.
Were you jacking the car?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. And then there was another time, but that's something else. Well, we had a competition we always had whenever we would give food to Barron Springs Homes for Children, and so we had these big competitions to see who could get the most weight to donate.
Okay.
So I would go around, take up money from everybody, and so we had, we started finding ways. I mean, we're competitive, and we think a lot about different ways. Okay, so what weighs the most for the least amount of money, and what could they use?
Oh yeah.
So I called them up. I called up the home, and I said, hey, could y'all use flour or sugar, those types of things? Oh yeah, we could use that stuff. So go for it. So then I took up a collection, and we got all that. So we were like right there. We were ready to weigh out. We weighed out the most, and then some of the guys heard about it in the development area, and they were like, okay, they ran up the street and got some more, some drinks and stuff that weighed more.
Oh, yeah.
And come back and put them on there. And I know the statute of limitations is over. I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago.
So everything's a competition around there.
Yes. But at the end of the day, the bottom line was all the food went to a good cause. So,
Absolutely.
and everything was fine.
Yeah. I'm sure you remember some of the fitness competitions around there.
Yes, of course. I about wore one of those shirts that we got
Yeah?
from that, but it's a little bit snug on me now. So, CrossFit. I mean, that was one of the things we did. That's something I kind of miss.
Do you?
I mean, it was kind of like, CrossFit was awesome. Ugh. I mean,
You
'cause
like
it was,
picking up the tires?
oh my God, no. I didn't like anything that made me really sweat or breathe hard.
So most of it.
No, I went with him one time when they allowed the families.
Yeah, that one time. Yeah,
One time.
I remember
so I
that.
watched him bear crawl.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
That was not a bear crawl. I don't know what that was.
I thought if I'm not going to do everything right, I might as well have a good time at it. So I would see everybody else doing their burpees, and I would be like, 2, 4, 6.
See, I think you forgot how to count a couple of those times.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And I knew it. I'm like, I ain't even going to try to do 20 burpees. That's ridiculous. If you want to carry me out of here in an ambulance, then I'll do it. But
You're supposed to be fit and in shape, man.
yeah, well, that happens. So you did still do CrossFit?
Yeah, so for a while there, we were doing pit practice in the morning, but before that, kind of like doing like a CrossFit boot camp in the morning. So it was a lot of fun. It prepared me very well, I think, for changing tires, which is good. So because our pit training was rather intense. So.
Yeah, right. So we used to go out and do. We work out. We had an hour and a half for lunch. This is way back, and then we go do pit practice about 3 times a week, and then just like you just go slam 10 pit stops in a row.
Oh yeah.
And it was like I was in much better shape, but it was like if I had drank a soda anytime that week, it was like during pit practice I would feel it. So anyway.
Yeah, our pit practice for the IndyCar started off in February, and we really only had a couple months before the 500. So it was, our first stops were 18 seconds on a car that was not moving, and obviously that's not quick enough. So we would go in 4 days a week at 4:30 in the morning and practice basically till our hands were bruised up, blistered up, bleeding. But it was worth it. We got down to sub 5 second averages, so. Yeah, it was good. So I'd say it's improved.
Where did you go practice?
So we actually practice at the Penske facility. So they have an electric Indy car that actually like drives in, and we practice pit stops. And we do about 12 stops, and they have video recording everything, so we can slow it down. We can watch it in slow mo, and our pit coach watches us, and he'll say, hey, like, this is where you're losing time, or, this was really good. And kind of just like watching our every move, because at that point, we got to a point where, okay, you cut it down from 18 seconds to 9, but how are you going to get those extra couple seconds off, because you're doing all the right motions, but, now it's about optimizing those and making it a smoother transition. So eventually got it down. So I think at the 500 we all averaged below 6 second stops.
It's crazy.
Yeah. That is crazy.
So there is two
Dawn?
questions, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Rachel wants to know, did Madison learn any interesting insights about NASCAR and the fans through marketing?
Yeah, I learned a bunch. I definitely have a newfound respect for marketing doing that. It was nice to see what the fans really care about. It's good to see their opinions, comment on stuff. We have such loyal fans in NASCAR. So it was so nice to see their point of view and the way that they watch the race and some of the stuff that they noticed. I remember a couple years back, I forget what race it was, but Kevin Harvick had, kind of a dent in his rear window, and the NASCAR fans pointed that out faster than anybody else could. So, it's these NASCAR fans, they're on it. That's for sure.
Cool. And the second one is, let me find it again. Sorry. They want to know if you've met Davey Allison.
I have.
Did you get to meet Davey Allison?
No, I wish. Yeah. That'd be a dream come true.
All right.
Were you born when Davey Allison was still alive?
I was born in 1997.
So how many pit stops did you all have at Indy?
So we had 4 pit stops at Indy. On our 5th pit stop, she was coming in, and we had, a bunch of cars had issues with their brakes coming into the pits. I mean, it's a tall task to ask somebody to go from 200 miles an hour down to 60, and then to all of a sudden, we're the 3rd pit stall in from the end of pit road. So to basically come to a stop there, it's a lot of work, and we intentionally make these brakes so where they're not draggy. We don't want a whole lot of mechanical drag in the car, so you obviously have to compromise, pit road brakes versus, a fast car. So just coming into the 5th pit stop, she locked up the brakes and the rears locked up, and she ended up hitting the wall. So that was a bummer, but that kind of ended our day. But other than that, it was, we had 4 really good pit stops and got her out some spots on pit road, and no one was hurt. We had some cars flying in at us, but no one was hurt. Everyone was safe, and we all had a great time.
You guys have gotten such great coverage. When David told me you were coming, I guess Friday night when I saw you, I started researching it, and then I opened up the Charlotte Observer today, and one of your teammates, the dog trainer, was on the pit crew.
Yes.
And they had a great story
Absolutely.
about her, and so
we've been really fortunate.
Right? Her name's
Amanda. Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to get a lot of great coverage. Amanda has no motorsports experience at all, which is fine. She was really athletic. She had done a bunch of field hockey, I think it was, and she knew a guy at Team Penske, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, you're really athletic. What do you think? Trying out for it. And turns out that she's very good at changing the outside rear tire. So good for her. Yeah, and all the other ladies on the team, we none of us came from IndyCar background, so to ask us to come in and change a tire in less than 5 seconds, it's definitely a task, and I'm sure it was not easy for anybody involved, but I think it's definitely paid off.
Yeah, it was a great article. I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if there were 2 women car teams. Was Madison on one and Amanda was on one, and is this what Indy's doing now? This is just so great because it's a female-owned team, right?
Yes, ma'am.
With a female driver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
And it's 75% female, crew, and everyone involved. So all the front office positions, marketing, PR is all filled by women. Or we had an aero engineer that was a lady from Team Penske. So yeah, definitely we had women sprinkled out throughout. So it was awesome.
Caitlin Brown is ask Madison about the first pit stop we did.
So the first pit stop we did, obviously, first pit stop of the Indianapolis 500, I'm pretty sure you could feel our heartbeat in the ground. It was so intense. We've been training for this for months, but nothing can really prepare you for fans around and just the whole energy of the 500. The morning absolutely flew by. And next thing you know, they're saying pit, pit, pit. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to remember how to do this. So first pit stop, we're out over the wall, and next thing you know, a car comes spinning out onto pit road. We all jump back over the wall, thinking that the car, something's going to fly off the car. He hit the wall, and we're all just standing there looking, and next thing you know, our crew chief goes to the radio and says, we're still doing this stop, cars coming in, better be ready. And so, of course, I think all of our nerves were through the roof. You know, they already were, but this was just amplified at times 10. And the car came in, and she went a little long, which is tough to adjust for because you have to, you know, kind of adjust. You know, you go down before she even gets to a stop, so kind of having to adjust for that. And but we nailed it. We did a really good stop. You know, we waited on fuel, which is the goal. So, yeah, it turned out very good. But definitely those first couple seconds were hairy, to say the least.
Yeah, I was just looking through this newspaper article here that shows it says North Carolina dog groomer among women on Paretta.
Oh, yeah.
Pit Crew.
It's continued on the other page with some other pictures.
Okay. I'll look through it whenever we run into some commercials right quick. And then we're going to come right back on Racing Roots with Ham. I've got Madison Conrad in here with us, who works at Roush Yates Engines, and she was just on the, was it 75% female pit crew up
female
at Indy.
Ford pit crew.
So she's telling us her Indy story right now. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
For over 20 years, Johnny's has been the place to shop for all of your tile and marble needs. What you may not have known is that Johnny's is also your go-to place for flooring. That's right. Johnny's is excited to announce the addition of LVT flooring. You know, that waterproof, kid-proof, dog and family-proof flooring. They have all the big names like Farmstead, Timber Ridge, Carolina Coastal, and Axis Core. This easy care, worry-free, stain and fade-resistant flooring can only be found at Johnny's Tile and Marble. Let the great folks at Johnny's help you with all of your tile, marble, and flooring needs. Johnny's, Signal Hill Drive in Statesville, next to Horizon Church. Finally, an independent specialty pharmacy in the Lake Norman area, Lakeside Specialty Pharmacy, where they're committed to care for you, your family members, and our furry friends. Lakeside Specialty Pharmacy offers non-sterile compounding, vaccines for shingles, pneumonia, and flu shots, free delivery and mailing of prescriptions, and they accept all major insurances, including Medicaid, Medicare Part D, and CVS Caremark. They are proud to serve our community, providing personalized attention and care. They go above and beyond to find the lowest prescription prices. Stop in today. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. and Saturday, 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. Lakeside Specialty Pharmacy, 480 River Highway, Suite A, located in the Food Line Shopping Center. Or give them a call at 704-360-2029. Or go online to lakesidespecialty.com. And now the COVID-19 vaccine is available at Lakeside Pharmacy. Call for an appointment, 704-360-2029. Hey, we've got Ryan Scott here at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. Tell us what's going on now.
What is going on at Randy Marion Chevrolet? How about deals? Deals. 2017 Chevrolet Cruze starting at $79.88. Yes, I said that slow, so you got it. $79.88. You will not beat that deal. We've got all colors, LTs, LSs. Come check them out today. And I tell you what, you know Randy Marion sells a lot of cars, but I bet there's one thing you didn't know about Randy Marion. He wants to buy your car. We're looking for quality pre-owned inventory. So come see us today at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. You'll leave here with cash in your pocket. Come.
Roots with Ham right here on 550 AM and 92.9 FM, and also on DHAM on the YouTube. So y'all can tune in over there and see us here live in the Randy Marion studio. And we got Madison Conrad in with us, who was when the as I mentioned, she works at Roush Yates Engines, and this past weekend she went up to Indy. This past weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Or
Memorial
2 weeks
Day
ago.
weekend. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Memorial Weekend. Went to Indy and pitted a car. And you also have your friend with you who did the same thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
This is Caitlin Brown. So she's a sandbagger, so I'll give her some hype here. She was the inside front tire changer, and she was doing 3-second stops before they were cool.
There you go.
Okay. And she went to NASCAR Tech as well. And yeah, she works at Team Penske now doing all the fuel cells for NASCAR. And gotten the opportunity to do this IndyCar.
I'll just let you talk for me.
Great.
So you changed the inside rears and she changed the inside fronts.
Yep, on the inside together.
Very good. And what was the difference? You know, like in NASCAR, you know, the rear person gets gas dumped on them half the time. But on the IndyCar, is there a difference?
I think the biggest difference would definitely be like when I get down versus when she gets down. And also like just like what we have to look for. Like for me, I have to look around the fuel man, like as the car's coming in, as the fuel hose is like getting ready to go in. I have to really look around that. I have to be aware, like if she locks up her brakes when she's coming in, like she's most likely going to come straight for me. So I have to be ready for that. And, you know, she might pin Madison in too, but thankfully we didn't have to deal with that. She came in straight every time.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
I've been to, whenever I've been at, well, one of the times with Bristol as a jackman for Kyle Petty when he come in so close to the wall and I'm pushing down on that jack and I'm beating my knuckles on the wall, just trying to get it to where, you know, especially a place like that where you got the chains are really long on the left side. Anyway. But yeah, that's impressive. So did you have, I guess you have 4 tire changers in an Indy car?
Yep.
So who changed the other 2?
So actually the crew chief in IndyCar changes the right front tire, which is unique to IndyCar. So our crew chief Vance was on the right front, and then Amanda, the jog groomer that you guys saw the article about, she was the right rear. And we have the air jack man as well, and then a fueler. So, and the air jack, when there's no wing adjustments, he actually pulls the right rear tire. But if we do have wing adjustments in the rear, then Amanda on the right rear would have to pull her own tire, set it down, and then hang her own tire. So all without trying to make tires roll down pit road so there's no penalties.
How about that? That's interesting. What article was that? Oh, Charlotte Observer. No, that's not. Yeah. So that was the Charlotte Observer newspaper there. Yeah. So and if y'all didn't notice, I've been having a lot of issues with my eyes tonight because really I've only got one that's really working right now. So I've got to have the cataract surgery, unfortunately.
Not cataract,
I'm
detached
sorry.
retina.
I wish it was cataract surgery.
Much easier.
Yeah, that'll come later.
He'll be down for a while.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to, trying to do the best I can with my right eye, and
He's
it's
just
not
kinda
that good
winging
for
it.
that place. Yeah, so I'm winging it. So sorry if I'm not reading a lot of the comments and stuff, but
I'll
thanks
keep an eye on 'em.
for tuning in. Tracy's got her eye on that.
And just so you know,
Yes.
one of their trainers is watching on YouTube.
Oh, which one?
Oh, who did we say? I'm going to butcher the name. Hibden.
Oh,
Hibden.
Yeah,
So
he was
Hibden's
our
watching.
NASCAR engines teacher at NASCAR Tech.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he said left rear. Not sure what.
Question, Dickie Dennis, could you define inside rears, please?
Yeah, so in IndyCar, they say inside rear because we don't pit the same way every time. So this, at Indy, we had left side fuel. You know, that's the, car coming in and, left
Normal
side is
direction,
inside. But then, on some racetracks, especially road courses, they pit the other way. So that's why they say inside rear, but basically it's left rear at Indy.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Watkins Glen, places like that, you're the other side.
Exactly, yeah.
So, Dickie's, he mentioned the video about you changing oil.
Yes.
Yeah,
He said I did it
faster.
faster than you.
Yeah.
I believe it.
I think I had, 25 minutes worth of video I had to cut down to 1 minute
Well, that's
to do it
because
into a short.
You were critiquing.
Well, no,
what I
there
said.
was. Okay, so I'll just tell you the whole story.
Let's hear it.
All right, I pulled my truck in. I needed to change oil in my truck, and because it was due.
He got a free oil change.
Yeah, so I put it up on the lift, and I bought the oil a month ago probably, and finally got around to doing it. So I was like, hey, just do a video, and so she gets under there, and I showed her a few tricks. And so she's taking the oil filter down, and then here comes the oil running all the way down. I'm like, let go of the filter. Oh, my gosh.
I didn't want it to splash, so I was still holding it.
So, I mean, I didn't get mad, but I was just like, what are you doing? Just let go of the filter because you don't want oil running down your armpit.
Oh, yeah.
And at that
That's
point,
no
it was
fun.
on her
Plus, we'd been
shirt
driving
and
the
stuff.
car all day, so the oil was very, very warm.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you set her up.
Yeah, I kind of, I
He
did
forgot it
tell
was that
her
warm.
to
He
turn
said, hey,
it.
babe, go change the oil real quick.
Yeah, I try to tell her whenever you take it down to
Don't
kind
let
of
it
tilt it
splash.
that way. So anyway, there was a couple other things like whenever loosening the oil drain, you can put 2 wrenches together and then use that as leverage, stuff like that. So I think she learned a few things, and I learned a few things as well.
Yes.
So, just saying.
Yes, you did.
Caitlin's sisters tuned in. Yeah, so Dickie Dennis asked,
Illinois.
Yep.
he said, what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick. Of course. I mean, think about it.
Always make a stupid joke.
That's pretty funny.
He thought about those jokes when he was up on the fence.
I bet, yeah. I bet a lot
or in
comes to
jail.
you when you're up on
Yeah,
top of
in jail. How long was he in? 14?
I think he was
15
40
days?
days.
It was something like that. And I was like,
47
what?
days.
Man.
Yeah.
Man,
But it
seems
was
a little
worth it.
harsh, right?
Now
He
he's
got
a-
arrested, yeah.
Yeah. But now he's a
Put him in
celebrity. So
jail.
Just wants to have a good time.
yes. Tabitha's Barnes, who is right there, but she don't want to be on camera. Matter of fact, she says, "Get Madison to start." I have seen that. Yes.
We got one so far.
She'll
One.
she'll snort whenever.
Are you the
laughs.
Tabitha that comments in the mornings? Yes. All right.
Long time
Yeah.
listener, first time
Yeah.
caller.
Yes, she was. That's right. It was Tabitha Tipton.
Yes.
So I had, she's going to get married
That's
in
what threw me
November,
off.
and so I had to remember those things. And then when she got married, I was like Tabitha Tipton Barnes now. Yes, but yeah. All right. So where did you start? I mean, are you from here? Are you from?
No, so I'm originally from Illinois. I grew up about 20 minutes south of Chicagoland Speedway, so a little town, Wilmington.
Joliet.
Yep, Joliet area. So similar to Madison, my dad, grandpa, they both raced, and that got me into racing as well. And then I moved out here to go to NTI, and from there I got a job at Penske, and I've been there since.
All right, very nice. So one of the things first time I flew into Chicago, I noticed it was like what's that name of that show, Matt, or whatever, the house or the whatever. You're not really houses, but they're like stacked.
In San Francisco?
Well, that too, but I'm saying
Oh
Chicago.
yeah, like in the city, yes.
In the city, Chicago was the same way. Yeah, it was something Matters is the name of the
Family
show.
Matters?
Family Matters, yes.
Yeah.
And then they show some of those scenes where they're stacked. And I really never seen anything, well, except for San Francisco. They're pretty much like that. But in Chicago, it's like they're everywhere for a mile stacked like that. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that in Charlotte. That's my point with that. So, yes. But Chicago was a very nice racetrack. And of course, you come down here to work in NASCAR.
Yep.
Which happens a lot. And so how did you end up getting the job at Penske?
So I happen to know some people that knew a crew chief there, and he got me an interview. So it kind of rolled from there, but just happened to have the right connection. So.
Mm-hmm. How'd you meet Madison?
Best day of her life.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you.
The truth is.
Actually, we met at the school. We didn't go to school together, but we did meet at the school. And then me and Tabitha worked together, and I met her through Tabitha. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. And the rest is history.
Exactly.
Now look at you.
And now we're inside
Now we're
inside tire changers. Yeah.
Yes. So are you going to go back next year?
Man, we hope so.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to do that again. So I
Yeah.
think we're still just trying to wrap our heads around this first one. So
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
A
hopefully
lot of
this is
pinch
not
me
where
moments.
the story ends.
Yeah, sure. And that's why I was kind of joking about did Doug pay you got 2 weeks pay for Roush Yates, and then totally kidding though. But it's a good deal because it's good all around because you're
good publicity
you're
as well.
also
Absolutely.
it's good publicity.
Yeah.
And you're also representing Roush Yates engines
Yeah.
and well Team Penske, but this Team Penske's car, right?
Yeah, so it was alliance with them. So the car didn't come directly from Penske, but they worked on it, helped build it, all their parts, and their people working on it. So.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't been to the Penske shop, you can still go up to the catwalk, right? I mean,
I think it's about to open soon. Yes.
okay, because that's an impressive shop.
Absolutely.
So, but what about you go up there, you walk up the catwalk, you can walk down, and then you'll see how there's tile floors.
All
And
throughout, yes.
And if one tile breaks, they got somebody to come in and fix it right away, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And they keep it spick and span. Kind of like Roush Yates, people used to
Oh, yeah.
always say, you could eat off the floors.
Well, it's
and
like
I'm
a hospital.
I haven't
Yeah,
tried.
absolutely.
Haven't tried eating off the floors yet, but
You've laid on the
probably
floors.
could. Oh, I've laid on the floors, yes.
I believe
Yes.
it. I believe it.
Yeah, Doug Hess, he was my Goldberg, as everybody knows him.
Oh, yeah.
So, he was put in that position to be my boss at that time. And so, which this has nothing, it's irrelevant to what I'm about to tell you. But when I get tired, I just get tired. And I'm like, all right, that's enough. I just got to lay down. So I just lay down on the floor. And then he comes walking by, and I kind of saw him out of the corner of my eye. I got to keep one eye open because, you can't sleep with both eyes in a race shop.
This is true.
So he comes walking by, And then he stops, and then he turns back to, Ham, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to take a nap. I'm trying to take a nap.
In the window.
And it was nice and quiet in here till you come in. So, yes. Well, I was in a middle stall. So what do? They moved me to the window. And I wondered if that had something to do with it.
The birdie in the window.
Well, yes. That's one of the things about working in NASCAR. There's always, you always have a nickname for one. You have a nickname yet?
I don't think so.
Okay.
She does. She just don't
Probably.
know it.
They don't tell me to my face.
They don't tell you.
To your face. Well, there's those too. Some are to your face, some are not. Anyway, but you always just have a good time. It's pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What was your nickname?
Ham bone. So it was what it was.
That's what they told you.
Yes. Yeah, it's to my face.
And they
I'm
called
sure
you the
there
gun
was
show.
others.
Remember that? The gun show?
Oh yeah, the gun show, because I
Yeah,
used to
the
have
gun
some decent guns, but
You
I'll
got
get
the
back to
concealed
it.
carry.
I'll get back to it. Yes, they're lethal weapons. They're outlawed in 51 states or something like that. Whatever.
Well, I guess my question to you guys would be, what was it about racing, NASCAR, all that struck your interest? What was it was it the adrenaline? Was it?
Yeah, I think for me it was there's one common goal, and that's to win the race, and it's a really rare industry that you kind of get graded every week. You kind of know where you stack up every week, and it's constantly evolving, and even though you're good this week, that might not mean anything in 2 weeks, right? So I think it's the fact that it's so competitive, every little advantage is worth it, and the goal is very simple. It sounds simple, but it's obviously not executed.
A lot goes into it.
Yeah. So that was for me.
Yeah. I think for me, just like growing up around racing and being in it, it was all I ever knew and wanted to do. And I knew NASCAR and all that, that was kind of the highest level of it. So that really drove me to do it. Thought it would be really cool to be working in NASCAR. So here I am. But
And doing an Indy pit.
yeah,
Why not?
Yeah,
both
absolutely.
sides of the shop.
Yeah, there you go. And being a woman in a mostly male-dominated sports, what's the challenges?
Yeah, say it's tough. Obviously coming up, through, racing, it was, you have people that don't want to see you succeed, and you have people that, are kind of, you have to prove yourself in a way. You got to work, 120%, when everyone else is maybe just giving 100%. So that's tough. But, along my way, I've been really blessed to have, so many supportive people, throughout my whole career of, that want to see you succeed just as much, and they're willing to do anything they can to help.
I think a lot of times too, it's like the men have a difficult time seeing whether you made it because of your hard work or because you're a female. So you definitely have to show and put in more effort to show that you're there because of your hard work. And I think that was one thing for me. A lot of people always tell me, oh, well, you're just a female, so of course you got that opportunity. But they don't know, I put in just as much effort as them, if not more. And so you got to work hard to get to where you are. And that's with anything in life. So, yeah.
Definitely. What do you think about women in the sport, Dave?
Well, I think that women are just as capable of doing anything that the men can do. Except there's certain exceptions. Let's say, okay, we had a guy that was a jackman back in the day. It takes a certain amount of strength. It would be tough, but you could still do it as long as you got the. So there was a guy that was a really small, short guy.
Yeah.
But, it's a matter of you throw the jack down and then you just jump. But now at certain places, he might have a hard time where you have to, short stroke or whatever. But he did it. So, yeah. And that's, and a lot of times though, women think different than men, believe it or not. So there may be times where they might be better at certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe organizing. I'm not saying.
I know our pit coach, he really said a lot how working with us compared to working with the guys was a huge fresh breath of air. Because the guys, he tried to tell them something and they're very well, I can do it. I don't need your help. Yeah. And he said, with a lot of us, we wanted to learn and soak it all in as much as we could. So if he gave us advice, we took it to heart and really tried to work with it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I could see that. Yeah. And I was saying all right, so I'm not very good at, let's say, organizing. All right. And that might be a woman, might be better at organizing stuff. I mean, you think?
You might be better, or I might be.
Well, women. I'm just saying because y'all. Okay, here's my experience. The woman has a place for everything.
I do.
Like, it goes in their little cubby, you know, like
With a label on it.
If a woman was over here, yeah.
And the reason is to make
With a
life
label on it,
easier.
yes. Yeah, it makes life easier. So, yeah, I wish I could be more like that, but I'm not. So, but there's applications for that in racing.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So if I could have asked you to come into my work area and organized it for me,
Yeah.
I might not have got in trouble as much as I did.
Exactly. Might helped you out.
Because I was always, you know, being told, hey, clean that work area up a little bit. I mean, it's
Get off the floor, Ham. What do you?
that too. I mean, you know,
Both eyes open.
just couldn't do anything right.
Dickie Dennis says, you got guns, Tracy's got artillery.
Oh yes. What do you call yours? Chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time I met Doug, David did tell me who Doug was.
Doug
Because
Yates.
we had went to the,
You should have known.
which
I
party?
mean, it's Doug Yates. Come on
Everyone
now.
knows.
I didn't know.
It was Robert Yates's farm.
It was
out
Robert
in
East's
Rhonda.
farm, the fall party. So it was the first time I had met him. So David is introducing me to everybody, and he didn't say, this is Doug, my boss. He just started talking to him, and I'm like, yeah, something about bench pressing. I said, you see my chicken wings? And I was like, David, why didn't you tell me that was Doug, their boss?
I'm sure Doug got a kick out of it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
He
so
don't
I'm
judge.
the chicken wing girl.
And I mean, we talk to each other like, you know, we're brothers or something.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've known each other a long time before I even got got a job over there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So I didn't think about it.
Yeah, you guys
And
had lots of good stories when he was on here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was hour and 45 minutes.
I bet.
And I said, all right, I didn't want to I felt bad for keeping him out that long, you know, so I was like, hey, Doug, we probably should wrap it up now.
Yeah.
So, and his daughters were texting him and I think they was ready for him to come home. But
Yeah.
And he was talking about how one of his daughters has a crush on Stenhouse.
Okay.
So yeah, they were like,
She was mad at him for saying it on the air.
yeah. So that was good stuff.
But Doug's welcome to come back anytime.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll do that again. And there'll be plenty of more stuff to talk about. More fresh stuff, just like whenever
Yeah.
you come back in
Absolutely.
years from now, because I'm sure you'll still be working.
I hope so. Yeah, that's the
ever
plan at
since.
least.
Yeah, because Doug also has all the others. He has his manufacturing facility where they're doing.
Lots of stuff going on at Roush Yates. You know, the manufacturing facility has really been taken off. You know, manufacturing right now is really big. So yeah, lots of new stuff, lots of new exciting stuff with the next gen coming in. So yeah, it's going to be a big year.
Yeah, because I think it was last week we were talking about that, how some of the teams were picking up contracts for building parts for the next gen car.
Yeah.
And I know Roush Yates got some of that.
Absolutely.
Like is it wheel hubs or something?
And then the uprights as well.
And uprights. Yeah. So good deal. And Mike Messick's still doing good.
Mike Messick is so good. Mike's happy to be back at the racetrack. You know, I don't think that guy has missed a race in 20 years,
Yeah.
as long as I've been alive. So
He's a machine.
yeah, he really is.
Yeah, I just saw he liked our the post I put on Twitter about tonight. So yeah,
Nice.
and the Brett Troutman's tuned in. He says hello, David, from the Troutman family. I could
Yes.
actually read that.
And Dickie Dennis wants you to arm wrestle me.
Oh, me and you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I would definitely lose. I can guarantee you that.
yeah, I'm not that. I mean, no, never mind. I was gonna say I'm not that weak. Why would I say that? So I just said it. No. So my mouth gets me in trouble a lot,
Yeah,
believe it or not. I'm not supposed to carry a shovel
You'll
around.
have that.
No, she's pretty strong for.
For a little girl,
I
yeah.
mean, she's got to deal with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is true. And I got to
Yes.
change his oil. I mean,
Exactly.
Gosh.
Put this poor girl to work.
Yeah. And then there I am under my truck, under my lift, and I'm back up and bang right in my head. I'm like,
I
can it
said,
get
well, it
any
doesn't
worse?
bother me because
Why is-
I'm not tall
Yeah.
enough to hit it.
Yeah.
So I was reaching up like this to change it.
Gosh, yes. So I did a video and I put it on the TikTok, and it's got like 50,000 views like within a day.
Wow.
50,000.
Yeah, 49,000.
I didn't know you were a
something.
TikTok
I didn't know
famous.
I was famous.
Yeah, my TikTok. Well, it's my video. Come on now. Hers has like 400. It's getting there. It'll get there eventually. So.
Oh, your video's got 50,000. Okay, let's clarify that.
Yes, DHam I am on TikTok. Anyway, so if you want to see it.
Self plug.
But yeah, and I did that. I saw it because we were talking about earlier about the oil change video. So we like doing stuff like that. They got the little 1 minute videos. You just put them together real quick. and it's a lot of fun. So whenever you're in Indy, did you take video and pictures? I know you took a lot of pictures.
Yeah, we took. We didn't really have a whole lot of time to take a bunch of video, but I got as much as I could. And luckily, we had some people in our pit stall taking videos of our stops for us, and the pre-race ceremonies, taking the pictures of the flyover. Like, it was incredible.
Yeah,
it was
Very
so cool.
special moment.
And that's one of the things. When I was going, we didn't have cell phones. I know I'm showing my age now. I might have gotten a cell phone my last year. No, I remember borrowing somebody else's cell phone. So my last year traveling, going to the track full time was 2001, and that was 7 years of doing it. But I was thinking back, if things were like they are now, how much different it would be as far as people having their cell phones and doing their videos and things like that. But of course, I know you're working and you can't do too much of that. But it's just a change in times.
Oh yeah.
And so Dickie Dennis, he says, talk dirt, behind the scenes stuff, cowbell time.
Or a funny story.
Yes. Oh, cowbells, yes. So is he talking about at Roush Yates? All right, so Jim Dooley's, yes. Oh, he does not, Double D does not have he doesn't have a Racing Route sticker. Tracy, she's supposed to be sending out prizes. That's her job now.
Yeah.
So I'm blaming it on her now. I've relieved myself of the prizes. And speaking of, we got to do a prize. Spin the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
play. So if you're just tuning in on the radio, you're listening to Racing Roots with Ham. And we've got Madison Conrad in here with us. So she works at Roush Yates Engines, and she just went to Indy this past weekend and pitted a car in Indy. And introduce your friend.
Yeah, Caitlin Brown. She was the inside front tire changer.
Yep.
And she works over at Penske. All right, so do y'all want to spin the wheel?
Yeah.
So what I do is I spin the wheel every week, and we get a prize winner, and then I send them, supposed to send them a Racing Roots with Ham sticker, and you can tell me your favorite driver as well, and I will send you a prize that has to do with your favorite driver. And I brought some stickers for you too, by the way.
Sweet. I love it.
So if Tracy's got the color coding written down, then we'll go ahead and spin that wheel.
Go ahead.
All right. Tabitha's seen this wheel many times.
Have you ever won anything, Tabitha? Yeah, I won ice cream. Oh, there you go.
There you go. Andrea's Sweet Shop right down the
Yum.
street here, yes.
I can't see the color.
Red.
It's red.
All right, it's Brienne Brown.
Brienne Brown.
My
is
sister.
our-
Brienne Brown
She
from
would win
Illinois.
it. Just send it to me. I'll get it to her.
Yes.
She doesn't need your autograph.
Yeah.
There you go. Brienne
But
Brown.
anyways,
you
go on to
get-
dhamiam.com
Yes.
and you can put your email address in, and we'll
Yes.
eventually get a gift.
Yes. And if that doesn't work, we're done some work on my website recently. You can also go to Racing Roots with Ham on Facebook and send us a message on there as well. Send us your email address and your favorite driver and your mailing address, and we'll get that prize in the mail. And I'll get one up there to Dickie Dennis. I've got a couple envelopes for him, I believe.
Yeah, we got a
still
few
gotta
little
send him.
things in the works.
Yep. So anyway,
But so Dickie is wanting a funny story, one of your funniest stories, either besides the almost getting hit on the track.
Yeah, I don't know if that was very funny, but I don't know about from
Sounds scary.
Indy, but from Roush Yates Engines, the funniest story I can think of is the time that there was a raccoon in the shop.
oh yeah, I remember that.
Were you there?
It was in it, yeah. And I tried to do a video of it. I got a little video. Yeah, of course, yes. I got a little video of it, but
So
it was.
we got there in the morning, and you can tell really quick when something weird is going on because everyone was like surrounding this room, and everyone's like peeking through the window, and it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, our maintenance guy, Dan, I see him. He's like, there's a raccoon in there. Like, I don't want to touch it. And I was like, you're joking.
Madison's like a raccoon.
I'm like, I'm ready to domesticate it, right? But they ended up shutting all the doors
really
in our
was.
engine corral. And you have Mark Hayes and Dan Keenan, and they're trying to wrestle this raccoon out of here. It
Oh,
snuck
no.
in. It made like a mess in the break room. Like, there was hot chocolate powder everywhere.
They found us in the box.
Yeah. And, it's trapped in, our engine corral and,
Yeah.
hissing and growling at everyone. So Dan Keenan and Mark Hayes, coming up with this plan to, kind of rope it in and get it outside. And Sean Woods,
Yeah.
I guess he used to have raccoons
I think
when
so.
he was younger.
Yeah,
So he was talking very nice to it. He was like, hey,
Yeah.
it's okay. Like, I know you're scared. And everyone else is like, get this thing out of here. Like, and he's trying to, talk it off the ledge, right?
Raccoon whisperer.
Yeah. So eventually they got like an extension cord and like a pipe and made like a,
Yes.
whatever snaggle thing,
Yeah.
and got him out of there, put him in a trash can, and then like went and released him out. And I still can't believe that happened. That was probably the
I know.
funniest
Smelled all
moment.
David's food and his.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
My
smell all your
sardines in
food.
my toolbox and
Yeah.
all the food.
Who did that to you?
Oh no, I always.
David does it all the time.
I kept cans of stuff in my. I always had food, you know.
You
I
eat
gotta
sardines
eat.
on purpose?
Yeah, of course. They're good omega-3s. They're good fat.
Yes.
Right.
He would make me buy them for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did a little video because I had, we were all standing outside of the window looking in, of course, but there was always raccoons out in the dumpster.
There
so
was, yeah. They
I'm
would
just
get stuck in there.
Wondering if maybe if the door was left open a little bit.
Yeah.
Whenever they're cleaning or something and you snuck
I think
in.
so, yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good stuff there. And Jim Dooley says, Madison, I have so much admiration for your energy and drive.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
You'll go far. You're an inspiration.
Yeah.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
And that's true. It's one thing. And one of the things about Madison, she's always got a smile. She's always got a lot of energy, just happy, because there's so much, I'd say negativity in the world. I guess, you get enough of that stuff. You don't need to, you want to be around people that bring positiveness to your world, because it can be addictive. Get around somebody that's negative and it can just bring down your day.
Yeah.
And then especially in racing, that's not a positive thing.
Absolutely. I'd say I always told myself that attitude is everything. So
Yeah.
I try to keep it that way. Sometimes I have to look back and think, okay, I work on NASCAR engines for a living, so I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
pretty cool. I can't complain.
Yeah. That's for sure. Yep.
Exactly.
And Brianna says, "Hey, I won't."
She won.
Oh, she won. Yes, she won. Sorry, I told you my eyes are just messed up.
Haha, yeah, I
might as well
won.
speak
Love you,
quiet.
C baby, and Madison.
Yeah. All right. So, well, anyway, so what is your the rest of the week look like for you there at Roush Yates?
So we just raced in Sonoma this past weekend. So since Sonoma's in California, we won't see those engines back till probably tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday when haulers come back. But once they come back, they'll go through teardown, and anything that needs to be torn down will get torn down. Teardown will clean up all those parts. I'll get pistons and start inspecting them. And then tomorrow we'll have our problems meeting. We like to think that there's no problems at the racetrack, but sometimes there's a couple that we got to discuss. So it's my job to kind of present those and go through them, and hopefully we can solve them and get better next week. And then on Thursday we have our post-race meeting, so that's when we'll go over all of the findings from Sonoma, and hopefully all good there. So
Yeah, because by then the engines are tore down,
Yep.
and you can kind of get a good look at them and see what happened.
and then start getting ready for the All-Star this next weekend in Texas will be good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think probably a lot of people, this is behind the scenes stuff. You tear down the engine and you can look at the bearings, you can look at the pistons, you can look to see how much heat was in the engine, just all kinds of different things, so that you're either going to improve on the engine, or you can create or keep a problem from happening.
Yeah, I like to call it like the CSI of engines, pretty much.
Yeah,
So.
it is. And then there's the library where you
Yep.
keep track of.
Yep, I do keep track of library, so that's where we have over a year's worth of engine components. So if we need to go back and look at, a Texas race from last year, we can go pull those components and actually look at them, because, we keep all this stuff documented, virtually, but it's something special about looking at a part, so you can actually compare it easily, and it's a lot better than looking at a picture. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can tell a lot from an engine that's been tore down. Of course, you can go through it.
If you know what you're looking
see everything.
for.
Yeah.
You have to know what you're looking for.
Yep.
Yeah, you can know what drivers are rough on equipment or not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've seen a lot of those throughout the years
Oh, yeah.
of who were rougher on stuff. Some of them aren't around anymore. That's not necessarily why, but that's just the way. You can tell ones that miss shifts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And ones that rev them up faster, which is part of missing shifts. But
Yeah, the pistons do not lie when it comes to that.
Yeah, some are definitely hard on them.
Yeah.
And there's hardness tests and stuff on the
Oh,
pistons.
yeah, lots of stuff. Yeah.
Yep. And then, so who would you say is your favorite driver? Let's say at Roush Yates. I know that's kind of a tough question, but or with the Ford camp.
So my boyfriend
one
works
that
at
wins the
Penske. is going to hate me, but I'm a closet Kevin Harvick fan. But when it comes to my boyfriend, I'm a Ryan Blaney fan. Penske. So
Yeah.
yeah.
There
But
you
pretty much
go.
whatever Ford's in victory lane, I'm all for it.
Yes, I'm with you there. So, what does your boyfriend do over at Penske?
Yeah. So he is the front end mechanic on the 21 Cup car for Matt DiBenedetto.
Okay.
Yeah, and he worked on the Xfinity program for a while. On the 12 Xfinity, kind of like when all the Cup drivers would come in and run a couple races. But previously, he actually worked at Brad Keselowski's truck team with Chase Briscoe. So cool to kind of see Chase Briscoe come up through the ranks now. So
Yeah, for sure. Chase is doing good. There's a lot of good drivers in the Ford
Oh,
camp
yeah.
that, and the future looks really good for them.
Rachel's a diehard Brad fan. She says you gotta love Brad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Brad was one of my. Well, I had so many different favorites over the years. You know, it used to be Matt Kenseth back in the day. And then Carl Edwards was one, of course, and it goes along with who was winning too. You know, but Brad, whenever he first came in, he come in the shop and he was coming over there and asking me, you know,
you liked him for the free beer, didn't you?
Well, that too, yes.
Where's the key?
And for the burnouts.
It just wasn't often enough, but we got it. But yeah, but he was asking technical questions about the engines, the pistons, and things like that. So he knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, very smart.
And I really liked that about him. And Rachel's asking, what do you got to love? Yeah, got to love Brad.
Mm-hmm. I read it.
Yep. All right. So how if people out there listening wanted to keep in touch with you, or let's say wanted to keep track of your career and see what you're up to or whatever.
Yeah, just Madison Conrad on Facebook and Madison Conrad 76 on Instagram. So try to keep it up to date, you know, with everything going on. So
yeah. And then what about you, Caitlin?
Caitlin Brown on Facebook, and then I believe it's cbrown_9 on Instagram. So
Okay. cbrown_9.
we're not TikTok famous yet, like David Ham over here, but
Not on the
maybe
TikTok,
one day.
yeah.
You know, I know people make fun of TikTok, but I actually enjoy that. And Tracy's sitting there watching them today, watching the quick.
You
they're
get
like quick
sucked
1
in.
minute. Yeah.
To the TikToks.
It's a black hole. Yeah.
Yeah, they can be pretty funny, but they can also be, you know, to reach more people. Let's say.
Yeah,
'Cause
absolutely.
I've done it. I've done some for the Racing Roots with Ham to try to reach more people as well. And anyway, so our buddy Phil Cavalli's out tonight. He's taking the night off. He had a lot of stuff to do. He's the photographer. He worked for the Winston Cup scene for many years. And so he still goes and takes pictures.
Good for him.
So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
a lot of the pictures you've seen over the years with NASCAR were taken by Phil Cavalli. So we miss him, but I'm sure he'll probably be back next week. But I think Spencer Boyd is going to be in with us, which is
Nice, yeah.
Truck Series driver. And I say I think because I got to figure out what I'm going to be doing. And that's kind of why I had Dawn here to sort of help out too.
I'll bring you on a stretcher.
But I'm going to have to, yeah, I told her, I said, hey, if I want to go, I'm going.
Might be it, yeah.
I mean, if I have to put my head down, if I'm not on camera, I'm sitting over here. If I have somebody else here and have somebody else taking care of,
I had to take the camera from the ground, looking up to you.
Well, yeah, I could do something like
yeah.
that. It'd be face down. So anyway, not looking forward to that, but yeah.
Poor thing,
yeah.
bless it.
All right, so if y'all like this video, hit that thumbs up if you would, and make sure that you go on here and comment. And if you have any questions for Madison, go ahead and put those on here so that we can answer them for you. I'll make sure that Madison gets them, and she'll go back and watch them, I'm sure, too. And
Oh, yeah,
Caitlin
absolutely.
as well.
Yeah.
And they'll
And
go back.
FYI, Brienne says, Caitlin, your Instagram is cbrown.9.
See, someone would fix it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for tuning in.
thank you.
And we'll see y'all next Monday. And yes, thank you, Caitlin, and thanks Madison for coming. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
hello to my former fellow Roush Yates engine guys. And thanks everybody for tuning in on Facebook. And so we had some extra comments coming in.
And
But
for the kids coming in.
yes,
they were
that's right.
great.
Yep. Mason and Madison that came in earlier to tell us their story.
The M&M.
Yeah, their path, their racing roots. All right, so y'all have a good night, and we'll see y'all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Racing Roots with Ham.
If you don't know our host, David Ham, he's a 25-year NASCAR veteran, engine builder, and jackman.
Live every Monday evening, we have a new guest.
From the racing world with their stories, their paths,
Their Racing Roots. Sponsored by Jersey Cape Yachts.
550 and 92.9 WAME and W225BD.